Hola, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite TV shows. I am about to leave my apartment in about half an hour, so I need to do this quick. But today I'm going to do a review on Narcos Season 2. Created by Chris Brancato, Carlo Bernard, and Doug Miro. So, Narcos Season 2 is the second season to Narcos, a TV show about Pablo Escobar, the drug trafficking kingpin of Colombia back in the 1980s and early 1990s. And we also have a simultaneous storyline where we sort of see the entire situation in the DEA's perspective, the American DEA perspective. Specifically Steve Murphy and Agent Javier Pena. So we have Narcos. If you haven't seen my review for season 1, go check it out. It's a good season, but season 2 though, wow. It's so much bolder. I feel like it's so much more ambitious and also so much more violent than season 1. Yeah, there are so many twists and turns to this thing, and I know there are a lot of inaccuracies because ultimately they didn't make this TV show to accurately portray what's going on in Pablo Escobar's life and his rise and fall, even though they try their best to be as accurate as possible, but at the same time they want to make it entertaining. So this TV show is dramatized and changed in a few plot lines. And as far as entertainment goes, they really succeeded because this season of Narcos is extremely entertaining. Also, again, it's very bold because characters, man, characters, they're dropping dead left and right. There are so many characters' deaths. It has been a while since I've seen a season of a TV show kill off so many of its own characters. But the season starts off quite slow with episode 1, Free at Last, and episode 2, Cambalache, where the first episode is pretty much a continuation of the last season finale, where Pablo Escobar escapes La Catedral and had to live in a safe house. And it also signifies the beginning of a new chapter where Pablo is out on the streets again. He is dangerous again because the jail is literally no more. And while the episode is slow paced, it's not bad at all. It's also alright. Same goes for the next episode, Cambalache, where because Pablo Escobar is a very wanted man, he had to hire himself a chauffeur, a driver, and he hired Limon. And Limon becomes a pretty important character in this season as well. And from episode 3 onwards, every single episode is just shocking, intense, also extremely well paced with some really character moments as well. Episode 3 and 4, Our Man in Madrid and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, are 2 episodes where a specific character from season 1 has returned. And this return of a character is really hyped. And this guy, do not underestimate him. He is the number 1 most dangerous person working against Pablo Escobar. And when he had arrived back in Colombia, well, oh boy, a lot has happened. It's been crazy. It's really grand. It's really building a lot of tension as well. And also, on these 2 episodes, we really get a glimpse. Not even a glimpse, like a huge look, a huge stare in the eyes of moral ambiguity. Because this guy, I will not spoil which character it is, but when he returns, he really, really hates Pablo Escobar to the bone. He would do anything to get to Pablo Escobar, even something immoral and kinda illegal. So we have moral ambiguity, which has been causing a bit of a confusion, and episode 4 ends off in an incredibly shocking and tragic way. And usually scenes like this, they don't shock me all that much, but because of how much tension and hype is built up to that specific scene, it really came off very tragically shocking. Episodes 5 and 6 is The Enemies of My Enemy and Los Pepes, where Pablo Escobar makes new enemies in other regions of Colombia, namely Cali. Cali is another city in Colombia, and the biggest cartel in Cali, the Rodriguez brothers and Pacho Herrera cartel, they of course hate Pablo Escobar and want to kill him. And then at the same time, last season Pablo Escobar killed Kiko, and Kiko's wife Judy Moncada and Berna, who they work together. They hate Pablo Escobar as well. And then they also acquired help from a certain organization ran by the Castaños brothers, which are like the anti-communist guerrillas. What the Castaños brothers do is that they burn down villages and mercilessly kill all the people who they deem communist. So they all decided to work together to fight Pablo Escobar, and they call themselves Los Pepes. And I really like this new chapter, given that now it's more like a group of bandidos versus another group of bandidos. You know, some really gruesome, gory violence is about to happen, and yep, it does happen. And it becomes way more complicated and risky when Agent Javier Peña was involved, because Los Pepes, they need intel, and the only way they can get intel fast and quick is by literally having connections with the DEA. So they hit up Javier Peña, and Javier Peña kind of hesitated at first, but his hands were tied. He wants to see Pablo Escobar down as well, so he collaborated with Los Pepes. Even he himself was like, hey, don't kill innocent people. Don't kill innocent children and women. They don't deserve to die. The only people who deserve to die is Pablo and Pablo's men. Why are you killing all of these innocent men? Well, that's what Los Pepes do, I guess. Specifically Castaños, because even the Cali cartel themselves, even the Rodriguez brothers and Pacho, they do not agree with the incredibly overt and grand handlings of the Castaño brothers, but that's just how the Castaños brothers work. Episodes 7 to 8 are Deutschland 93 and Exit El Patrón. And wow, these two episodes are both absolutely amazing, but very different kinds of episodes. The former, Deutschland 93, is a bit of a detour episode where Agent Javier Peña finally tracked down Pablo's lawyer, Fernando Duque, but he doesn't want to share this intel with Los Pepes because Fernando Duque has a child with him and he doesn't want to see the child get hurt. So Peña actually had a change of mind, which is really nice. Character development, you know? And then the second storyline of the episode is where Steve Murphy tries to follow the Escobar family. Sans Escobar, Pablo himself, of course, but Pablo's wife, his two children, and his mom. They tried to escape Colombia because now Colombia is getting super dangerous with Los Pepes being around. They tried to escape and leave the country. So Steve Murphy had to follow them on a plane all the way to the other country, stay at the airport until they get deported back to Colombia. And that's very interesting because Tata Escobar, which is Pablo's wife, has never really shared a scene with Steve Murphy, even though both of them are such important characters in the TV show. So seeing them two together on a plane and then seeing them interact with one another is incredibly interesting, especially the ending. You know, maybe the family thinks Steve Murphy hate them, and in reality, probably, but when a car came out of nowhere and started to drive towards the Escobar's family, Steve Murphy actually made an attempt to protect the Escobar family instead. And episode 8, Exit El Patrón, is truly the end of an era, because this episode is where Pablo Escobar pretty much loses everything. Everyone who had worked for him had died left and right, getting assassinated by Los Pepes, caught by the Colombian government, the police. And while I don't feel bad for Pablo because he has done shockingly violent things like blowing up airplanes and killing a lot of innocent people just to send a message, I kind of feel bad for the people who work for Pablo Escobar, even though they are also, uh, you know, assholes. But they're only working for the Patron, you know? But exit el Patron, as explained by the title. Patron exits on this episode. Patron means boss, and it's the end of an era, really. But the season isn't over. We still have episodes 9 and 10, Nuestra Finca and Al Fin Cayó, where we have the final 2 episodes of Pablo's life, where he has pretty much hit rock bottom. And there's even a 1-month time skip towards the end, which makes it even more depressing for Pablo. He really looks different. He has a beard now. He's up in the mountains, hiding away from the police. The police had been trying really hard for an entire month to locate him, and he's just in hiding. At one point, he met his dad, and his dad is really nice. His dad clearly didn't like Pablo, but his dad still let Pablo live in his house for a while and take good care of him. But at some point, Pablo confronted his dad, and his dad was like, "You're a murderer, and I'm ashamed of you." And Pablo's pissed, and he leaves. He goes back to the city, which is like, are you insane? You're the country's most wanted man, and you're going into one of the biggest cities in Colombia. You're actually insane. Which leaves us to episode 10, where Pablo Escobar hides in an apartment, and the police found evidence that Pablo is there, and things happened. And Pablo is dead. Spoiler alert, but Pablo Escobar did not survive at the end of the season. I think it's common knowledge at this point. It's a very satisfying conclusion. It could have ended in a very unsatisfying way, given the fact that at the end Pablo didn't go out with a bang. He's just a fat dude with a lot of beard in an apartment hiding. That's all. But the way it's written and the way the tension is being built in a lot of the scenes in the final episode makes it extra entertaining. Also, again, this episode is incredibly bold because a lot of people you normally wouldn't expect to be killed off or to be forced to leave the series are forced to leave the series. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Narcos Season 2 is incredibly entertaining. It's very intense as well, a lot of tension building, and it's very tightly paced. Every single episode after episode 2 in this season is just a banger after another after another. And the first 2 episodes are pretty good as well. So, if there's one complaint I have with the show, it would be that none of the characters really specifically stand out to me. Like, there isn't much in terms of, character building or whatever. But given that this is a story about the police versus a drug kingpin, I mean, it's not like a character study or anything. And I guess at this point, I wouldn't say Steve Murphy is the main character. I mean, he definitely is the main character in season 1, but I find myself being invested in Javier Peña's well-being way more than Steve Murphy's well-being. And I also kind of root for Pablo Escobar's wife for some reason, because I mean, sure, she's not really a good person either, but I just feel bad for her because of how much pressure that she's undergoing. My favorite episode is probably episode 8, Exit el Patron, that, or The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And my least favorite is Cambalache. I am giving Narcos Season 2 a strong 8 to a light 9 out of 10. So, have you watched Narcos Season 2? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. I've been thinking what TV shows do I want to watch next. I think I will watch Black Mirror, which I actually haven't watched at all. Also, I may watch Mad Men Season 3 and The Wire Season 2. Yeah,